let's talk a little bit more about Vince Vaughn, the Notre Dame football player. Okay, obviously you were so good. I mean, good leader, star, just obviously star, incredibly athletic. You know, and
that's right. Graceful would be the word I would choose, but go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't use enough. I couldn't think of any more words. I need a thesaurus out here. You still follow along with Notre Dame football, college football? How often?
I do. I saw you at the game day. That was fun seeing you there, and that was a good game. That OSU game was a great game.
Yeah, and Ohio State gets the win, obviously, and then Lou Holtz gets a shot across the shins and the whole thing. Yeah, from Ryan Day.
They came out as a rally point and used it as a moment for that. That was great. That was great drama. That's great college football. That's a backyard brawl with those teams. A lot of fans intersecting there. So it was a big moment last year.
Yeah, and the Lou Holtz thing actually came from our show. We had Ty Schmidt, who, massive fan of yours, dressed up as Lou Holtz, interviewing Lou Holtz, and Lou Holtz says a quote in a interview with a impersonating Lou Holtz that drives the Ohio State team to beat the Fighting Irish. Nonetheless, do you follow college football the most? NFL? Do you follow NHL? I know you're a massive Cubs fan as well in Chicago. What is the sport you enjoy the most in your downtime?
I follow it all. You know, college football is so exciting. I love the NFL as well. I follow hockey, so I follow all of it. But you know, I'm excited for football season, both the NFL and college. It'll be an exciting year. It's crazy that you're going to have what used to be the divided, Big Ten and Pac-12 merging. And as a traditionalist, at first, I really didn't like it. I thought it was a shame. And then, as I said on the show, it was crazy that last year the Pac-12 was the strongest it had been in forever, with a bunch of teams, obviously Washington going to the show. And then kind of as a final goodbye, it was Pac-12 and Big Ten there in the finals. But now that it's here, I got to say I'm a little excited to see these matchups during the season. Are you starting to get excited about these guys going back and forth here?
The traveling back and forth is certainly a conversation piece, and it doesn't make sense. Like the ACC is now the All-Coast Conference, basically, instead of the Atlantic Coast Conference. They got people traveling across it. But whenever you think about like the primetime games and the premier games, you're going to have so many marquee teams now, because there's basically the Big 12 is run by West Virginia. We know that. We can put that conversation to bed.
Of course.
But the Big 10 and the SEC, it's like literally, I forget the exact number. Tone, what is the number of Big 10 SEC teams in the top 25 that rolled out? It is like
15, I think, because 9 and 6. 9 in the SEC, 6 in the Big 10.
So it is in these SEC and Big 10 conference games, we have all. So I think all the premier games are going to be massive, if that makes sense. Like I think all the.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. There's going to be some shit.
And it'd be interesting to see these guys go in cold weather. That was always the question, right? That'll be fun to see them go into the big house or the horseshoe there a little later in the year.
Yeah, I think Michigan's hosting Oregon. Not that Oregon's weather is fantastic. I think USC's got to travel to.
I think they play at Michigan.
Yeah, that's going to be. That's going to be chilly. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a different.
It'll be fun. Yeah, as fans, it'll be fun to see it play out. And that Washington coach, DeBoer, is to see him now take over the reins there in Alabama. That's exciting.
Well, and then Bill Belichick's coaching for Washington, because his kid got hired as the DC with Fish. So Bill Belichick's been at their training camp. Michael Lombardi's been at their training camp. Pete Carroll's been at their training camp. It's like, how much football? I think we're going to have a great year. Hey, have you heard about Guardian caps? Have you heard about these Guardian caps? Because obviously that meathead over there is like, I don't want pillows on my helmet. But it's becoming like a real thing, Vince. I don't know if you know that.
No, tell me where it's at. My son's playing tackle football right now. He's 10, but I haven't seen a Guardian cap yet.
Oh, he's about to get one. So it started with AJ.
It's not a real picture, for the record. This is not a real picture, Vince.
This is where it started. It started.
But that looks pretty valid to me. I mean, that looks about as authentic as it gets.
Yeah, you'd be right. Yeah, you'd be right.
Ticker.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yep, put on the ticker.
Yeah, bingo. Vince Vaughn says this photo looks valid.
Valid.
Okay, and that means a lot. This is legitimately what it is, though. But they have a linen thing that goes over. There it is, and they're trying it in practices, and then now players are allowed to use it in the game. The Colts had 5 players. They used it in game. Pittsburgh Steelers had a guard. They used it in the game. There's been a couple others, but obviously helmets are just going to include this going down the road. But how do you feel about the evolution of football and what it is and the science and the numbers? And obviously it's all because of how big it all is, but it is changing in front of us while still hopefully holding on to the electricity of the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really like the rugby stuff being looked at for, those kind of getting your head to the side, eyes to the thighs, squeeze. And I think there's good to protect your head, obviously. it's a passer's game now for sure. I mean, when I was younger in high school, you could hit the receiver down the field until the ball was in the air, which made it so much harder to pass or get routes. In fantasy, offense in general drives every sport because the average fan gets excited when they score. I always like the defensive game. I don't like the evolution offensively going each year because I think it hurts the game. I do understand, going for safety. It's not a perfect thing where that's concerned. But, I don't like seeing the focus on scoring everywhere. Like, I don't like the National League having a DH. I like the strategy that came with when do I pull the pitcher, who's in the bullpen warming up. I like the guy playing the field having the bat. And so as they look for more offense and they look to include bigger fans, I feel that we lose some of the essence of what made these sports terrific. And going back to the stuff we're talking about with kids and part of the lessons of learning of playing sports, I think some of that may get lost if we're just rewarding scoring.
Hey, how about a great baseball take in the middle of that entire football take there? And obviously we've seen you at games, both on screen and in real life in this entire thing. 10-year-old playing tackle football. I love that.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, I love that. You love football. That is because there's a lot of people that are kind of against that. Isn't that kind of like a big talking point, big conversation piece?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's culture too, right? Like my dad's from Ohio originally, and he grew up playing. So I think part of it's culture. And how much are you staying safe versus how much are you learning how to take risk and learning lessons? So I think you got to play the game safely. I like that we're protecting the kids. We know more today than we used to know. Football has obviously evolved from back when it started. It got safer as years went on. So hopefully that continues. But the physicality of the game, those conflicts, those battles, that's a big part of especially for youth, that's a big part of what you want to get out of it. You want kids to learn how to be resilient. You want them to realize they can pick up and try again. And as you said earlier, learning how to lose. Sometimes there's someone bigger and faster. Go back to the drawing board. What can you do to get better? And that's the thing I think that could be lost on people that don't participate. If you're lucky enough when you're young to play with friends and people that you care about, you will push yourself much farther than you think you're capable of. When you're really on a team with guys that matter to you and those moments get tough, a lot of times for the other guy, the teams that do well, it's because you care about each other. And I think that's a great connection, a great bond that comes out of it.
Hell yeah. I mean, you are a football guy through and through. Wow. I'm loving everything that you're saying here, and I don't know how often you get to And we've had the conversation because we've both been very lucky to be on teams and obviously had a front row seat to a lot of great football players and everything like that. But the teams that are playing for each other as opposed to just alongside each other, that is a massive X factor that doesn't get talked about. We can actually see a video from a practice or a team meeting and we can tell like this team's going to be shit. This team is going to be good. Same with movie sets. We can assume that all the movies that were absolute bangers, everybody, we're all singing the same tune behind the scenes as well and hanging out and everything like that?
Yeah, it's better if you have that and you'll go through more and persevere more. It's better if you have that. And like anything, sometimes you have to figure how to navigate that. But, that's the thing. I like in college that these kids are getting paid. I think they should get paid.
Agreed.
But we got to make sure we preserve that uniqueness of college football, which is, beat the state next door and that kind of camaraderie and bond that exists. They got to figure out this portal when they're doing it. I don't like it during the bowl games. And they got to figure out the essence of college football is really that tradition, is really that being from that area. And you got to balance the getting paid, which I'm all for. I think it's the right decision. I think it's great for these kids.
Agreed.
But these coaches have to be in a position to teach. And they have to also be in a position to coach these kids and to challenge them and push them. The kids are going to want that in the long run.
Yeah, agreed. And I think there is like a couple waves that have come through with this NIL. Money grab, transfer portal, money grab, which, by the way, I would have done the same exact thing so you can't blame them at all. But now we got actual kids coming out saying, I'm not in college to make money. I'm trying to learn here and then I'll make money in the future. Colorado State's wide receiver and quarterback were both offered like $600,000 or something like that to leave and go somewhere else. And they said, we believe in this coach, this system, what we're learning, and we're going to pass that off down the road. Now, they're probably in vastly different situations than some other people that might, that 600,000 changes an entire family tree. But to your point, everything you're saying is right alongside what everybody with a brain seemingly is thinking as well. We need some guardrails in this thing, and I appreciate that you follow the game. I appreciate the hell out of everything you're saying here.